And we are back. Here I am, Fly Navarro, with CyberGens talking about cybersecurity and what a crazy 24 hours it's been in the cybersecurity world. First, let me introduce Kyle Lemos. Kyle, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Fly?
I am doing incredible. And lo and behold, who do we have? Captain America, da 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 da, Mr.
You
Brett
changed my name
Roberts.
today. I gotta fix it.
What's that?
I said I didn't change it on here. I gotta fix it.
You got it's okay. It's I know it. I see the screen on here. We got Checkpoint. We got CyberGen. We got everything going good. Adam, our production manager, is on point today. First of all, you guys, I can't be live if you guys don't have a happy face on. I mean, you guys are way too serious. I know there's a lot of stuff going on.
All morning.
What's that?
I'm smiling all morning. I'm good to go.
Okay. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Hopefully Mike will be joining us sometime during our conversation. We had a lot of stuff happen over the last 24 hours in the cyber world. We had, what was the number of hospitals that had the problem last night? Was it 40 hospitals?
400.
It was 400.
Total was 26. I think it was acute care, and then 328 behavioral health facilities. So it was about 400 in total.
So for everybody that's joining in, Brett, Captain America. I'm sorry, Captain America. Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about exactly what happened last night with all these hospitals.
So the bottom line and the high level for everybody like me that's not technical. So what they did is they installed a program that was encrypting data, and what they do is they hold them at ransom. And when they hold them at ransom, they basically take over all their computers, shut them down, and in order for you to, am I frozen? I think I'm frozen.
Your face was, but we could hear your voice.
Okay, cool. So, and what they do is they basically shut everything down, and they have everything completely locked down. So you can't do anything. So in hospitals, where this happened, obviously that's a major problem. We've seen this with schools, like I spoke about in previous episodes. With hospitals, it becomes something very, very challenging. I think I want to say a couple months ago, I saw an episode on TV, and they had a ransomware attack right in the ER, and it was all fictional, it was all on TV, but I really liked the episode because it really made you think as far as what can really happen. Everybody uses tablets when they're diagnosing patients. Everybody uses computers to track all the patient records, so it becomes a very, very challenging thing, and honestly, it causes people to die. I know there was an article I read not too long ago. A patient in Germany had to get transferred because of something very similar that happened. And in the process of him moving from one hospital to the other, he died because he didn't have the care that he needed. So, kind of going back to some other episodes where we were talking about IoT, this is also a big thing. With ransomware and these type of attacks, it's very, very structured. It's very different. These people really know what they're doing. They're smart. They plant things. There's two kind of things that they do. They do it's called TrickBot and Emotet. So those are like the scouts that they put out there. And what they do is when they're out there is they basically mine the data, and they try to find out where everything important is. And at that point in a hospital, it could be their data centers. It could be, it could be everything that's connected. I mean, everything's on a computer right now. And then at that point, once they gathered all this information, it's not an overnight thing. Usually it's months and months and months. From the cases that I've seen, it's months and months and months, sometimes years, of them understanding where everything is, getting passwords from everybody, that are crossing unencrypted areas on the network there. And D-Day comes, they push the button, and it's lights out. It's no control, and now what do? I know, like in the military, it's a great example. You always prepare for the worst. So you always do drills. What happens if this goes down? What happens if that goes down? Unfortunately, hospitals, people are, super busy. I mean, anybody's been to a hospital, it's like you're waiting to be seen. So imagine if they had to, go against what they normally do and they're not as efficient. So it really creates a lot of havoc. So that's in all what kind of happened.
So Kyle, what in something like this, how would you plan ahead of time to make sure you don't have this problem?
Yeah, well, with us, with like as being CyberGen, we love working with Checkpoint because we know that their products are the best on the market right now, and there's no better than it. So they have that percentage higher than everyone else to guarantee that we're the most secure kind of thing. And so honestly, it becomes a thing where instead of being on the defense, you want to be on the offense. Instead of waiting for the attack, you want to know that the attack's not going to affect you at all when it does come. So that's where we kind of like, for example, we have a lot of pharmaceutical companies, especially down here in South Florida. As account manager, I look over them, and that's something we definitely look at is like so for example, we didn't get hit by the past 24 hours because we had the protection needed. We had Checkpoint where we needed them. We had security where we needed, and luckily not luckily, but it shows that nothing got through. You know what I mean?
The biggest the biggest ways that things get in, and I think it's up where I think it's around 90%. I don't know the exact percentage, but the major entry point for all these things usually is email, right? You always hear these stories of people at work getting emails. It's like, don't click this link, and they're like, oh, I want to click this link, right? And it's like out of they'll send thousands of these emails out to people in a company, and the number of people that don't click this link, it's you're gonna get fired. They click it because they're just so curious. So most of the time, that's where it kind of comes in. That's kind of the entry point. So, coming through email. So whether it's Office 365, G Suite, whatever it is, that's the first entry, right? So then the second entry after that is it hits your computer. So if your email, protection, we'll say, doesn't capture it, your computer should then capture, as we refer to in industry as endpoint. So on your computer, on your endpoint, that's where the next line of defense would be. So you have all these layers kind of built in, and I really think of it as a military. It's like, all right, you got your first line of defense. If that fails because maybe it's not as strong or as good, or they're sleeping, I don't know. The second line, so that would be the endpoint, and then from there it starts going into network with firewalls and then within the entire network what they have.
Nowadays I feel it's different because of the way it's just gotten so sophisticated. Like before it was, hey, your Saudi Arabian prince cousin left you $30 million here, put your social security number. So it's like, okay, I don't think that's true, but nowadays it's like, hey, you've been logged out of your Apple account. Like you've been logged out of your Microsoft account. You need to sign in here. And it's kind of what we touched on last time we went live. They replicate the exact sign-in details that it would be on the Microsoft website. And next thing you know, you're like, okay, I can click on this link. It's Microsoft. Then you put your stuff in it, and it becomes a hacker's paradise right there.
You bring up another good point because yesterday we had some issues with Microsoft 365.
Yeah.
It seemed like they were down. I believe it was 9 hours.
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about that.
I know we didn't, as much as they publicly announced, there isn't much to it other than they said that one piece of equipment went wrong, which in my personal opinion, that's not one piece of hardware on such a big company is not going to affect their entire network or infrastructure. So out of personal opinion, I think it was a lot more than that. And
I like the way he's covering his tail. In my personal opinion, exactly. Next thing you know, Bill Gates is going to be at your door giving you.
What do you know?
He's going to be giving you the COVID vaccine.
No, but from what's public knowledge is that, like I said, one piece of hardware went wrong, stuff went wrong. That's all we know. But us being in the cybersecurity field, I believe it was a lot more than one piece of hardware malfunctioned.
All right. So, I mean, again, a lot of this has to do with preventative measures. You have to have stuff in place.
Yeah.
I have some things that I kind of jotted down, hearing this. So the first thing, and it's kind of crazy to hear it, is, keep your software updated. Especially, I mean, we're not throwing Microsoft on the bus here, but You always hear about.
He'll knock on your door next, man. Don't do it, Captain America. Captain America.
Captain
There
America.
you go.
So something that rhymes with Microsoft. You always hear these like things that they're letting in and compromises that they have in their security, and they throw patches. There's actually a day, I think it's called, isn't it like Microsoft Day or something, that it's like one day a month, Kyle, where they have all these patches that get pushed out.
Yeah.
The first thing is, have your software updated, because what they do is they make sure that there's no holes in the security that all these people are trying to find and infiltrate. So that's the number one thing. It's super simple. We all do it on our phones, computers. Usually you always are keeping it updated. Backing up your data is obviously very important. The challenge here is with these type of attacks is they're so far in advance that they actually get into the backups. So, people are like, okay, we'll just go to restore and we'll restore back to a month ago or a year ago. And they already had the infection there. So it just is there. When it comes to user privileges, email, and when it comes to that, it's, have really good privileges, about around the bare minimum of what that user needs. If it's Kyle and, he's just the guy on the floor, mopping, he doesn't need to have access to the entire hospital, so you just got to make sure that, whatever user there is, they have, every access they need. Just like in the military, you had certain privileges based on your rank and based on your position. You don't want to give it to everybody because you never know, you never know what's going on. Training, we always hear the training thing. We all roll our eyes, right, at work. But it really comes down to that. It's, it's just user knowledge. Before I was in this industry, you don't really realize how much is really out there and how many things that are so simple where, I send Kyle an email and, it's something that has to do with work, and embedded in that document is a macro, and he's going to hit yes, enable macros. And then before he knows, behind this screen, he can't even see it. He thinks he's reading a document about how to make pancakes, because we all know he likes pancakes. And,
Number one problem is you sent it to Kyle.
I love
Number
pancakes.
two problem is his love for pancakes.
I love pancakes.
It's like the ultimate bait to get Kyle.
Dude, I'm gonna get a picture framed of just pancakes right here, right there. It'll be beautiful.
But
everyone.
and then within that, the best thing obviously is having a good threat prevention system, a ransomware system in place that can not only detect it. So when Kyle does click on it, because he's going to click on it when it says don't click, he's going to click on it and he's going to do what it says and he's going to infect everybody. So, you want to have something that's there and the core and the inside that's kind of looking for, Kyle's of the world, so that way everybody's not getting it.
Kyle, you are so ground zero, brother.
He's the only one here today.
It does not get worse.
Wait a second. He's the only one here. Are you saying if Mike was here, you'd be picking on Mike?
Yeah,
No.
You'd
pick on Kyle.
Go for the account manager. No, yeah. But something I would definitely say too is just kind of what Brett hit on earlier is just how rampant, let's say, just ransomware is nowadays. Like, unfortunately, it is a big profit center for hackers now because they see that people pay it off. So when it became a thing with other companies, for example, outside of the medical field, it's already it's a hard hit on your company, and it honestly closes down a lot of companies nowadays. But with the medical field, it's kind of what Brett said. If they take data and they're like, hey, we're not giving this back to you until you pay us $500,000 in Bitcoin. So nowadays we can't track Bitcoin. Like, you can track the cash flow, all this through bank accounts, but Bitcoin's not trackable. So it's just become such a profit center where people are like, oh, they can't track it. Just put it into an account. And now I made money because I hacked into your system. And with the medical facilities, it's just such a different thing now because it's not even about the money or the data. It's about the fact that now we have, I don't know, Brett in the ER, and we don't even know what blood type he is because we can't get into his data.
It's very time sensitive.
Yes.
Huge.
It's very time sensitive
Yeah.
when you talk about people's health and all the things we got going on now, which has been an unbelievable strain on the medical system.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. And again,
I don't want my personal data getting out, and my insurance company getting in touch with it, my healthcare, because then it's like now it's like, oh, Brett has XYZ, we're gonna raise his premiums, like he's a high risk, and now we know all this information about him. So it's like nobody wants this stuff to get out.
Yeah. And on top of that, we talk to like small companies. Like we have some people we help that are 2 people companies, and they're just like, or we talk to, and the first thing they say is, we're not big enough. Like we don't need it. We don't need it. That we're good. Except the first thing we say is, as a company, do people buy from you? Like, do you have any of your customers' credit cards, anything? And they're just like, yeah, they buy some now and then, but we only have 2 clients. The fact that someone can get into your data, they can take all that information out. Now they have all your clients' stuff. Now they have all your stuff.
I hear from customers is, oh, I got cyber security insurance.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah.
And, to a point, and what they're going to mitigate and how much you're going to pay, that's completely different. But, the real challenge is, kind of what you said, Kyle, is, what? So you're talking about a hospital, and yeah, you have cybersecurity insurance. Well, that's great. Everything's going to get fixed internally, but what about all the people that just died? Right? That's the bottom line. That's what it comes down to. Obviously that's an extreme case, but with other companies, it kind of comes down to the same thing. Target. We all know about Target. Look what happened to their reputation, right? So it's just things like that you can't repair. I don't care.
Well, it's one thing about your reputation. It's a different thing when you're talking about people's lives.
Absolutely.
It's a whole nother thing. So let's, while we were chit-chatting here, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Callahan Jr. has joined us. Michael, good to see you.
Right, you can make fun of Mike now, dude.
Yeah, I want to see that happen. I really want to see that happen. So Mike, just FYI, just to give you a heads up, we were talking about ground zero, where people can get into your system, and Kyle always seems to be that guy. And Kyle said, well, or Brett said, it's only because Kyle was the only guy here. And I said, well, would you say it, Mike? If Mike was here, he goes, no, you're right. It'd still be Kyle. So
if it said don't click on this or your life is over, would you click on it?
Well, here's the thing. We've already figured out if the link that's getting sent in has to do with a famous pancake recipe, Kyle's going to click on that link no matter what.
Yep.
I got to say, here's the thing. I literally own a company that does cybersecurity for a living, and I've done this 25 years. And some of the stuff is so unique and tailored that it's hard for me not to get caught in them sometimes. And I do this for a living, right? So, and I look at it as like, man, the thought process that went into some of these phishing campaigns is so clever. I'm a big Miami Hurricanes fan, right? So I get something saying free tickets at the University of Miami playing Florida State this weekend or last weekend. From an alumni that I know, looking like it's from someone I know, I would be tailored to try to click on it, right? So they actually are so good at it. They talk in specifics to you personally now.
Think about when you're on your phone and you go to like Facebook or you go to Google now, right? And then tomorrow you go on another page and all of a sudden you're getting ads for something very similar you're looking at. So now you're getting all these pancake recipes. You're like, oh wow, and now it starts. So like, if they have that information out there, they can easily see like, let's hack in here. Let's see what's going on. Let me get information about Mike and see, what he likes, and then when they go to Kyle, they're gonna be like, this guy likes pancakes. This is easy. And then they're gonna just start pancakes.
Wait a second. Well, when you look at Kyle, he likes pancakes, long walks on the beach, and he can't reel in a shark. So it's really. Hey, what would a podcast be without mentioning the?
We're so close to not bringing up the shark story.
Oh, I wasn't going to let the community shark go without saying something.
Let me tell you the best fishing story in the world, right? So this is I call Saturday. I'm like, I'm going to go offshore fishing for a couple hours. I got room for one person. I call my sons first. They're all tied up this last minute. I'm like, okay, great. Let me call Kyle. He's been begging, and so I call Kyle. I'm like, hey, dude, you want to go fishing? And he's like, yeah. Let me ask the wife.
And she said no.
I don't think that's actually what happened. So I said, cool, call me back. during that 5-minute time, I had someone else that wants to fish. I took my wife and my daughter fishing. And I confirmed they wanted to go instead. So as he as he gets permission from his wife, I call him back and say, oh, by the way, just kidding.
At least he asked his mom. I mean,
Oh wow.
So we got uninvited this Saturday. Fantastic story. So.
You know what? From now on, you just got to buy the hotcakes from McDonald's for them.
But here's the question: if my little 5-year-old reels in a fish, and you're not on the boat, is it still your community fish?
If you bring it back to the dock, he's gonna take a picture with it.
Take a picture with it
easily. Just like the swordfish fly. And you should have told me. I would have drove to that dock and be like, just caught a 450-pound swordfish. You know, guys, easy day.
I sat on my couch, watched football, and came and took a picture.
Showed up for the pictures. So I don't know what I missed so far. Sorry, I'm late. The truth is, a dear friend of mine got laid off before the call, and my relationships are sensitive to me, so I won't go into detail. But it's COVID. A lot of people are out of work, looking for jobs, and figuring out what's going to happen in October, November, December, anyways. And so if I seem a little off, there's a lot of concern that you'll see in how we work. I care about people, and it's in this business, and we look. Microsoft got hit by something. And email came down yesterday for 9 hours for a lot of people. And they'll fix it, and that's what we do in our business. And a lot of hospitals got hit pretty hard. We saw one of ours locally, it was in the news, cyber threat. And that's what we do, and we defend against that. But when you boil down to this, we do it because we care about people and the people that work for us and the people we take care of. And I hope that through all of this and the live events that we do, people identify that the human aspect of what we do is important. Choosing your employees and your customers properly and taking care of business, right? So I heard a little bit of this before I hopped on, and let me just be clear. Problems with attacking a hospital are not the technology, it's life safety. I worked at Duke University Med Center 20 years ago. Young kid out of the Army, learning IT and hopping around through the operating rooms and learning how this business works. And I understood then that if I made a mistake, people died. And I'm not the doctor. Now these hackers are attacking, and risking people's lives for profit. So we've taken this up a notch where people used to hack for social causes. Now they don't care about the social cause. They're actually affecting human lives by bringing down and attacking networks. So there's a personal mission in it for CyberGen and how we do this. I know Captain America over there, former Army Ranger, same thing for him. There's a personal aspect to this and doing the right thing. And it's forgotten in all these, we talk about tech and all these cool, nerdy stuff that we do, but we're missing the personal aspect in this.
And Mike, and that's kind of like when you and I were speaking last week, there's a lot of people that do, our jobs,
Yeah.
And, what makes us different, and from being in my position, Checkpoint, where we don't sell direct, right? We sell through resellers like yourself. You see a vast difference from different resellers, and I think that's the biggest thing, and that's why you and I are aligned there, because we do care. We definitely want to build that trust and relationship with a customer, and ultimately we want to make them successful and prevent these things, because they can be prevented, or at least highly mitigated.
A lot of companies in this business just sell part numbers. They don't even know what the stuff does. And I found it very offensive because I spent 25 years learning what the stuff does, because we wanted to affect change in our industry and make it, build strong defenses and build good IT strategies and help people and help businesses grow. And if we put the technology and get it out of the way so you can just focus on your business and make money doing that, you employ more people who can just focus on doing their job. And it spreads that way, where a lot of people are, they're looking at, hey, there's a part number, I can make money off it. They have no idea how it works. And they sell something that's, one, not going to work. Two, if it did, it wasn't installed properly, so it doesn't work. And three, it costs, in this instance of these hospitals, life safety issues, major life safety issues. And if you follow a thread of cyber threat, obviously I do every day, that's kind of our, we have to be a pulse of what's going on. you know, a lot of companies got hit by denial of service or DDoS attacks about a month ago. There's other major carrier grade attacks that hit some of your major cell networks 3 weeks ago. Now we got hospitals being hit. You're seeing more of it. And these are done by large companies with big budgets, professional attackers. So you think it's a child sitting in their bedroom, you know, from West Palm Beach or Lake Worth, somewhere in Lake Worth Beach, just attacking something. That's the stuff you're reading about on TV, but that's not really what's happening. These are professional organizations that are doing this for profit.
It's organized crime, really.
It's organized crime. It's at a completely different level. So, you know, shameful. I read a hospital where my daughter was born gets hit, you know, and it's probably, you know, a 10-minute drive from our office. You know, it's shameful that this stuff happens close. Does it? Not, you know, city of Riviera Beach got attacked 6 months ago. Town of Jupiter got attacked. Well, I know you fished out of that inlet every single day, you know, probably half your life out of that inlet, and it gets attacked. You know, the town gets shut down by ransomware. This is personal stuff that needs to be handled.
Wellington Regional is 3 minutes from my house.
Yeah. What if you
had New Orleans get shut down? I mean,
yeah.
Big.
You know, what if you happen to be in there and you're waiting for your dosage for, I don't know, you know, something that's going to save your life, and then all of a sudden they have no idea who's in the operating room, what meds you've already taken, and they can't get access to that data. Then what? What about your mom sitting there in the operating room when it happens, and they lose access to the technology that's monitoring, I don't know, her heart, her vitals. You know, it's gotten to be disgustingly personal, and you know, people ask us, why do we work with Check Point? One, they're ex-Israeli, you know, military.
Yeah.
They've been fighting cyber threat for 30 years. And you know, they're incredible at what they do. This, unfortunately for them, it's a story of their life. They've had to. Because they've had to, they become great at it. Because they're great at it, you know, I think we're a great IT company, but we're really good because Check Point has a great product. And we're great at using it and using it properly. That's a separation. You know, they have a lot of salesmen come, some bells and whistles, but their product is incredible. So.
Are we just going to leave quiet air there? I mean,
Yeah.
you know what, Mike? Here's the funny part. This is the first time Kyle and Brett have been quiet. So it was kind of nice.
Yeah, I've been trying for, I don't know, Kyle, how long have you worked for me?
Too long.
I've been trying since too long ago to get him to keep his mouth shut. It's hard.
You know what you need to do is feed him pancakes.
My little girl wakes up in the morning, she wants pancakes. So now they're called pancakes. So Kyle, Jordy will get you some pancakes.
I went out we went to, on Sunday, we went to Lion Country Safari. My girlfriend's goddaughter, she says, if you're not quiet, you're going to be under arrested. And under arrested. Okay. Not a problem.
My son had his bagel this morning. I went and got bagels, and he's like, he loves it. He's like, oh, wiggle.
Wiggle, Daddy, I want to wiggle.
Yeah.
Start like dancing. Like, no, not that. It's a.
Kyle still says wiggle, but you know.
Yeah, I love wiggle. Jeez.
Cool. Questions. So just, you know, for CyberGen, I'm glad that people watch, attend, but we're here to help. And it's kind of a weird thing. Let me tell you something unique. COVID hit, and we were calling people. The world's changed. We were calling people not really to sell. Honestly, we've been very blessed in our business. We were calling other companies saying, hey, I know you've got to move your people home. Can you help? We'll worry about money later. Can we help? You'd be surprised at how many people were like, no, we're not interested. I'm like, we're really offering free service to make sure you stay in business to help our country and the economy.
Yeah.
Can we just help you? They were like, Well, they were first like, well, you know, it's weird. We got to see the progression of what happened to people and companies and their reaction to that. And now we're opening back up in schools. And my daughter's in public school. She's going to elementary school I grew up, you know, I went to. So
wait a second.
Every day.
The same school?
No. Same name of the school, but you know, that building fell down years ago.
Okay, I was going to say, because back then I don't even think they invented rocks.
Yeah, so when and then they had a place for the stone tablets to write our math equations. They don't need that anymore.
So back when you went to school, Mike, did they even have fire to light up the classroom?
No, we had to actually bring our own fire. You know,
so there was fire.
BYOF, bring your own fire.
And the best part is I'm a year ahead of him.
Yeah. Wait, you graduated a year ahead of me.
I did. I'm a year ahead of you, so you were a year behind.
And by the way, you see, you can start from nowhere and come somewhere. He's a year ahead of me, but we're the same age.
I'm a fast learner.
He graduated a year early.
I'm a fast learner. That's how it rolls in my world, man. Yep. Get it done and get it done fast.
Yeah, he's the smart one of this relationship.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I just get out before I get blamed for something.
Yeah, true. Done a lot of that in my life.
Yeah, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
So, all righty, guys. Well, I think on that note, Captain America has a hard stop. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up here. So everybody that's joined us, thank you so much for the cybersecurity talk. It's really in all of our lives, whether we know it or not. But definitely it's all over the news in the last 24 hours between the hospitals and Microsoft. And Kyle's going to be getting a knock on his door here very shortly because, in his opinion, it's going to get him into a lot of trouble. So everybody that's watching, thank you so much. If you have any questions on the cybersecurity side, just shoot me a message and I'll make sure it gets sent over to whoever it needs to be sent to. So appreciate everybody's time. Thank you so much. And we will check you guys later. Thank you very much.